Hello everyone. My name is Lizzy. And today I will be taking the Animal Alphabet Challenge. I will be challenged to name an animal for every single letter of the alphabet from L all the way to Z. So, without further ado, I'm going to go for it. Wish me luck with this challenge.
Hello Lizzy. My name is Rosie Anderson. Are you ready to take the Z challenge? I will call out a letter and you must give me an animal starting with that letter.
Yes, Rosie, I am ready to go for it.
Okay then. Best of luck. Can you give me an animal that starts with a?
That's easy. Aardvark.
Good choice. Can you give me an animal that starts with B?
Easy. Badger.
Can you give me an animal that starts with C?
Camel.
Congrats. Now can you give me an animal that starts with D?
Woof woof woof. A dog.
Good job. Can you give me an animal that starts with E?
UHHHHHH. Let me think. I got it. Elephant.
You're doing great. Can you give me an animal that starts with F?
HMMMMM. I know. Flamingo.
Wow, you're doing well. Can you give me an animal that starts with G?
Easy. Goat.
Way to go. Can you give me an animal that starts with H?
Horse.
Here's a harder one for you. Can you give me an animal that starts with I?
I'm still thinking.
Would you like to skip to J?
Wait. I've got it. Iguana.
Well done. Can you give me an animal that starts with J?
Let me think for a moment. I know. Jaguar.
Wow. You're nailing this challenge. Can you give me an animal that starts with K?
Kangaroo, of course.
Can you give me an animal that starts with L?
Lizard, because it sounds similar to my own name.
That is true, and you are correct. Can you give me an animal that starts with M?
Easy. Monkey.
Correct. And you're halfway through the challenge. How are you finding this challenge so far?
I'm whizzing through it. And enjoying it.
That's great to hear. But the second half will be harder. So, good luck.
Thank you, Rosie.
Can you give me an animal that starts with N?
Let me think for a moment. Newt. That's an animal, right?
It is. Can you give me an animal that starts with O?
An ostrich.
Correct. Can you give me an animal that starts with P?
Easy. Pig.
Correct. Now this is where it gets challenging. Can you give me an animal that starts with Q?
Let me think.
Would you like to skip to the next letter?
I got it. Clea.
Wow. That was impressive. Can you give me an animal that starts with R?
Rabbit, of course.
Can you give me an animal that begins with S?
Easy. A snake.
Can you give me an animal that starts with T?
A tiger.
Can you give me an animal that starts with U?
Do mythical creatures count?
Sure. I'll allow it.
Then my answer is unicorn.
Way to go. Can you give me an animal that starts with V?
Viper.
Correct. Can you give me an animal that starts with W?
Walrus.
Correct. And now for the hardest letter. Can you give me an animal that starts with X?
Is there even an animal that starts with X?
I'll give you some time to think.
I got it. Xerus.
Whoa. How did you get that? You're really good at this.
Thanks, Rosie. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Can you give me an animal that starts with Y?
HMMMM. Give me a moment to think. I got it. Yak.
Way to go. Can you give me an animal that starts with Z?
And last but not least, zebra.
Congratulations. You got all 26 right. You have nailed this challenge.
Thanks, Rosie. I really enjoyed this challenge. I had fun.
You're welcome.
Lizzy, I heard you got a score of 26 on the animal guessing quiz. Way to go, my smart girl. Thanks, Mom. No problem. Also, you are ungrounded for life and you are free to do whatever you want. I'm ungrounded and can now go what I want. Yay. Thank you so much, Mom. You are the best.